right now, with schools starting yesterday around Calhoun County. Not all of them. A couple of them are delayed, mostly for reasons of construction or moving and the like. I know that Climax and Lakeview delayed because they have some construction projects going, and a little bit different reason with the Calhoun Community High School, and Tim Allard is the principal, the head honcho over there. He's with us. I guess there's some construction involved probably, but basically it's moving. You guys moved.
That's right. Thanks for having us here today, Tim. Yeah, we occupied the territorial building that Lakeview owns for about the last 9 years.
On Arbor?
On Arbor Street.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're over in the Burma Center, which previously was the Math and Science Center, and before that, Springfield High School. So not only did we move, but we do have a construction renovation project that's happening all summer.
And I was looking at your website, and it looks great. The building looks really great. It's going to really open up a lot of things that you can do and for the students and faculty and everybody.
Yeah, you're 100% right. This is really the first time since our school came into existence that we'll be in an actual high school. Originally, they started in a church, and then we were in the territorial building, which was really an elementary building in its day. So now we're in a building that was a high school. We have a full-size gym, a separate cafeteria, a real science lab, which is really nice because that was left over from the Math and Science Center, and regular classrooms that we can provide better instruction and a better environment for our students.
Let's back up just a little bit, and Tim, tell us what Calhoun Community High School is, who it serves.
Calhoun Community High School is a 9-12 alternative high school for students who have not had success in the traditional system. We enroll students grades 9 through 12. Ninth graders haven't necessarily struggled yet in high school, but we find that even though they're our smallest class, there is an interest in the smaller environment. We can offer smaller class sizes, more one-on-one attention. We have what's called a clock hour and days waiver, so we're allowed to have some days that are not counted as instruction, but we're all there to help kids who are struggling either due to absenteeism or just because they're behind in their skills. And we really nurture the students, and so it's just a great environment for the kids who need our school. We're a niche school. We're not a school that's competing with the traditional high schools with sports and band and all those activities. We're there to help students get their diploma, and most of them stay in the Battle Creek area and continue to work and be productive citizens here. And so that's what we do.
How is Calhoun Community High School funded, Tim?
We're a public school academy, so we get state aid. We get federal aid. We have Title I, Title II, and Title IV funds that we use. We get state aid and 31A at-risk funds, but we're a public school. It's tuition free.
And how did you pull off the move from 15 Arbor over to the old Springfield and Math Science Center? I mean, that had to be a costly move. And how do you? What's the arrangement with the Burma Center?
So we have really managed our money well over the last few years, and we've built up a pretty good fund balance. I think 23%, which is really a good fund balance for any school district. We scheduled last year, knowing we would be moving, that the final week of school, not with students, all staff were required to work for a week, and so they came in. Everything was boxed up. We hired a moving company, and everything was moved over to the Burma Center, which fortunately had space for storage. So we've had 2 large spaces over there that's basically held all of our stuff. After July 1st, when our occupancy started there, the office staff and myself have had a couple little office spaces where we've been able to continue to enroll, and the project has just been going basically since about the middle of May, and we're wrapping it up tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, because school starts Tuesday in earnest. Tell us, how many students do you anticipate having at Calhoun Community High School, and how many faculty do you have?
So you really never know, so you build your budget in June based on what you hope you're going to get. We're always conservative. Our budget was for 155 kids. We think we'll be above that. Initially, you have this fear that maybe moving might reduce your enrollment for a while. I think there's great excitement, enthusiasm around having the new facility. So I think we'll hit our mark and maybe a touch above it.
And how many faculty?
We have 17 staff total.
And you've got two of them with you today. Rob Hireman is an English teacher. Morning, Rob.
Good morning.
And also Pete Mathis, social studies.
Good morning.
Guys, so how big do you anticipate your classes will be?
Usually our classes start out a little bit larger, and we have anywhere from 20 to 30 kids per room, and then that evens out as they come in and we do schedule balancing. We end up with a lot of kids that we can do a lot of individual attention with, so our class sizes really support that. Where the teacher, we have blocks, so we got an hour and a half for each class, and there's a lot of time we have to go circulate through the classroom and give a lot of individual attention to our students.
Yeah, I was looking at the schedule. Basically, it's 4 hours or 4 segments of the day.
Blocks.
So, yeah, 4 blocks. That's the word I was looking for. And yeah, so it looks like you can kind of spend a little bit of time, getting some work done in there. What tell us, Pete? What you teach social studies? So a lot of that's government, right?
Oh yeah, government econ.
So, what are these kids, do they come in apathetic about it, or do they come in actually
Not by the time they're
interested?
done with me.
What's that?
Not by the time they're done with me.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
so what's your approach? Because, I know a lot of, in fact, I was just talking to a young person yesterday, and I asked him, so do you follow the news a lot? I don't really, it's just too much bad stuff in there and a lot of bickering and politics and stuff, and I just don't pay any attention. I said, well, do you vote? No, I don't vote. So there's a lot of apathy among our young people. So how do you get them interested? How do you get them fired up about
Well,
it?
I've been teaching for 20 years, 16 at CCHS, so I've been doing this for a while. And really, my entire goal is to get them to be good critical thinkers. Like, hey, here's a really complex issue. Let's look at both sides. I really don't want to hammer one agenda down their throat, like, hey, you need to feel this way when you're looking at this issue.
Right.
It's more like, okay, well, here's what one side thinks, here's what the other side thinks. And with government and the world out there today, there are so many fantastic topics to bring out, you're going to find something that's going to spark their interest. Like, it's just going to happen.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because there is a disturbing trend right now. In fact, this morning, as I was getting ready to come into work, there was a left-wing TV talk show host named Piers Morgan. He's from Britain. And he was saying that he was very disturbed about the direction that the Democratic Party and the left are going right now, because they used to debate issues and talk about things that matter, and now they just point fingers and say, you can't use that word, we're going to destroy your career. And so now there's no thinking left in that side of politics, it seems. And so I'm encouraged to hear you say that you get them thinking about the issues, because I'm worried about the path we're going.
I think both sides do an awful lot of finger pointing, like it's you, and it's there's no more getting together to work on the issue anymore. It's
Sure.
very toxic.
Yeah, the issue of like healthcare,
Sure.
And probably, yeah, I'm going to say that, and maybe this is not right, but I mean, are a lot of your students from lower income families, Tim?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
80% free and reduced lunch in our school.
Sure. So they're families that struggle with health care and with all sorts of issues like that. So, they've got to be sensitive to those issues, because they plain old hit home.
For the most part, my entire goal is to get them to see that they are a part of a larger society out there. I do want them to get active. I do want them to vote. I do want them to have a say. I do want them to be able to take a look at issues intelligently and be able to, parse out what is right and what is being just, forced down their throat by a talking point,
I think that's all any of us really want is let's just think about this stuff and weigh a few things and make a few decisions. So that's great. What about English class, Rob? What kind of stuff are you helping people speak better English? Are you studying classics, or how does bilingual students figuring all of your curriculum?
I haven't had too much of the bilingual, but as far as like the reading material we cover, I try to use a lot of the what's going on in the world today, like news clips and that to start the class, and then do some discussion around that. And again, like Pete talks about, is that critical thinking aspect of asking the good questions and then finding your answers, looking for the evidence. So I'll use current topics too, but then I'll pull in selections of the classics and other literature to pair those together. So they're reading some of the older, more canon type literature, but they're looking at the modern language too. And
Sure.
so we'll jump back and forth. And then an emphasis on speaking and writing, because you need to be able to, as you move on in the world, that ability to speak to people and to convey your thoughts through writing is, I still think, very important in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. In a lot of, I bet you're battling a lot of social media because there's so many shortcuts now, and you're just typing with your thumbs.
Yes, and the language of social media is so condensed, and and you're like using the verbs right and the nouns. That type of grammar is all out the window when you're looking at that. So helping the kids to, you think of it as a different language. Well, there's your English that you're going to encounter when you're reading a work manual or you're reading the news. And then there's the language you have on social media. And you got to be able to go back and forth between the two and be literate in all of it now.
Right. Tim, I'm curious, do you have a policy on cell phones in school?
Yeah, we try to. It's a never-ending battle. It's a lot of compromise. High school students want to have that independence, and they're essentially, now they've had them their entire lives, so they're pretty much attached to them. But what I want to go back to is a couple of different things. The small class sizes are what make a difference for these kids. They may not have been good critical thinkers or writers or readers, but because we can devote so much individual attention to them, all of a sudden that spark does turn on. And they really haven't had leadership opportunities in the general education setting because they've struggled, and it's just natural to give those or direct those students who are highly motivated and being successful to be the leaders. So to finally have leadership opportunities in our school, they just, like anybody, really start to shine. The other thing I want to say is not only do we have these students, but our kids attend the Career Center, the Calhoun County Career Center, and they dual enroll at KCC, and they attend the RMTC. So we have a lot of options for them to, gain useful education, relevant education. So when they graduate, they're ready to go to the world of work, potentially college. If they go to college, it's typically KCC, or some of them enter the military.
Well, and I think it's really easy, especially in big schools with big classes. You get behind, you start to feel like you're lost in the shuffle, and you're not going to climb out of it, so why bother and try? And then you're coming along, and Calhoun Community High School offers a different environment where they don't have to feel like that. They feel like, hey, if I want to do the work, I can improve my skills, and I can do something.
Yeah, it's also a matter of allowing them the time to grow and mature and be ready to learn. So many of our students are not going to graduate in the 4-year time frame, but we have many who graduate in the 5th and 6th year. And honestly, the traditional schools, those 5th and 6th year graduates affect their data when it shows how many, what their percentage of 4-year graduation. So they are proud of their graduation rate, which, because of that, that's really how we were born and why we exist. We're the place that takes kids and stays with them to the end. Even up to age 23, we have a program called Graduation Alliance that students who may have otherwise dropped out because they didn't finish can continue through Graduation Alliance and graduate from us.
Talking about Calhoun Community High School, and you've got the Tim, you've got the open house coming up.
Yes, we do. Next Wednesday, the 28th, the school will be open for the entire community from noon until 6. We'll have some refreshments, and we're not the only ones. The entire building will be hosting an open house. So the Burma Center, Woodlawn Preschool, Veterans Helping Veterans, Truth and Titus, all the tenants that are in the Burma Center we're hoping will have or participate in an open house. So we not only want our students and their families and interested, relatives to come and see the building. We would like the community to come and see it. I think that we're the proudest of our name in that we are Calhoun Community High School. We're here for anybody who needs our services.
You see a lot of school buildings these days sitting empty and falling down, but this one's a beehive of activity.
It is, and I think it's really taken off in the last year. We were struggling to find a place, and we knew the Burma Center was there. I had visited a school in Grand Rapids to just get some ideas, and I was on my way back, and I stopped in there, and Martha, who was still the director, and we sat down and talked, and it was like it was just meant to be, and it just took off from there. So yeah.
Now, and you've got two of your staff members, Rob and Pete, here. You guys have been there a long time, you said, and these students, they take a little extra work. Some of them, and some of them have problems at home, and they've had problems in their previous schools. But you were telling me during the commercial that most of the staff's been there a long time.
Yeah, I think it's one of our huge strengths. Like I said, I've been there for 16 years. Rob's been for 15. Brian Demelo, math teacher, been there for 17 years. I mean, you have teachers who really care and understand these kids and have done it year after year. And it's a very stable staff. And I've always long felt that your best teachers need to be where they're needed the most. A trained monkey could teach a school full of honors English kids.
But if it was a miserable environment, you guys would be somewhere else.
I love what I do. It's the one job in the world where you wake up and you just don't have to. I never have to worry, am I doing something that matters? I know what I do matters.
Well, fantastic. You guys keep up the great work. Again, the open house is coming up. Well, let's see, first day of school, the day after Labor Day, and then the open house is next Wednesday, the 28th. Right?
From noon to 6.
Noon to 6. So come by and check it out, and maybe that's the place for your student, or some student in your family, or maybe the neighbor kid, and you might want to let people know about that. Guys, thanks again for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Again,
Thank you.
Keep
Thanks,
up the
Tim.
great work over there.
Absolutely.
At the new location, the former Math Science Center, the former Springfield High School.